Hey there, Goblin Weebs. This is the Goblin King, and I've got an anime review for you. Hey, this time it's a new one. Nope, I didn't have to scour the great anime list to find a decent one to review this week, folks. Luckily, a good one ended just last night, so I was able to binge the entire thing to bring you this awesome review. Well, maybe the review itself isn't awesome, but I think my anime thumbnails are always good. I work pretty hard on those ones. You know how awkward it is to get the word review out of Mushoku Tensei and make it look decent? It's pretty damn difficult, trust me. Anyway, I just finished this anime, literally, 5 minutes before I started working on this, so it's entirely fresh and right there in my mind. So, enough beating around the bush.
Giggity.
The anime I'm reviewing this week is the long-awaited and anticipated second season of Demon Slayer. And oh dear gods, was it difficult to avoid content having to do with this one. Hell, I actually broke down and did a bit on it when I was doing the actual pop culture breakdowns every week. I think it's one of the last ones where I had the 5 stories together, in fact. It was that stupid non-traversy with Nezuko's adult form and all. Gods, I hate fucking twatter. She's literally a child. Fucking morons. Luckily for me though, as far as spoilers go, I'd actually read ahead in the manga this last summer. So I was more than aware of a lot of the bigger points that were going to occur with this specific arc. So, for those of you who have been living under rocks for the last several years, since this anime hit it big across the globe, I'll give you a bit of a breakdown on what's going on with this anime up to this arc. The anime follows Tanjiro Kamado, a charcoal burner in Taisho era Japan. Taisho marks the 14-year period between 1912 to 1926. When his entire family is slaughtered and his slightly younger sister Nezuko is turned into a demon, Tanjiro vows to get revenge for his family and cure his little sister. In doing so, he's recruited into the Demon Slayers, a secretive pseudo-military organization dedicated to, well, slaying demons and protecting people from their depredations. Demons here seem to be sort of a fusion between Western vampires and more traditional Chinese, Japanese demons, East Asian demons, such as Oni. Through grueling training and many hardships, Tanjiro is accepted into the Demon Slayer Corps and even gets them to accept Nezuko despite her being a demon. He also meets up with these two jokers, his closest friends and fellow Slayers, Zenitsu and Inosuke. The season starts on the actual third story arc just after the Mugen Train incident. That one was covered in a movie and saw the death of one of the Hashira, Rengoku, at the hands of a highly ranked demon. So, the second season picks up right after this incident, with the small group grieving the loss of a respected leader, healing from their wounds, training, and finally volunteering for a mission with the Sound Hashira and former shinobi, Tengen Uzui. It seems there's a powerful demon inhabiting the Yoshiwara Hanamachi, pleasure quarter. A few weeks earlier, Tengen had sent his 3 kunoichi wives, yes, 3 wives, into the Hanamachi to investigate, but had since lost all contact with them. Therefore, he decides to grudgingly recruit the 3 youngsters, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, with Nezuko literally along for the ride, to infiltrate 3 of the major Oiran houses in order to find out what happened to his wives and to smoke out the hidden demon. Eventually, everything comes to a head with Tengen, his wives Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Nezuko facing off against the powerful entity that's made its home in the pleasure quarters. There we go. Concise, and I gave nothing away again. I'm proud of me. Alright, so I'm actually going to be able to bring another angle to this review that I haven't been able to do with any of the other anime that I've reviewed thus far. That is, coming at it after reading the source material. Fancy, huh? One thing that I can state right out is that the anime is just so much fucking prettier. The colors truly add so much to the aesthetic and overall beauty of the standard work. It's kind of insane how much depth it actually brings to the stories and events themselves. Things that look really cool or pretty in the black and white pages of a manga actually roar to life with the addition of the color elements. The other thing is that even though I knew everything that was going to happen ahead of time, I was still actually glued to my screen throughout this anime. All of the same tense moments had me, scooting forward and tensing up, literally. Being like, oh shit, are they actually going to do it this time? That kind of thing. So the reading ahead didn't actually ruin any of the experience for me at all. I still thoroughly enjoyed every moment of the second season. Plus, I certainly didn't notice any missing elements. I mean, it has been a few months since I read that arc, but everything seemed to be there, all the story elements, all the major beats. I didn't notice any of those tiny changes a lot of people like to make when they move from one medium over to another. I didn't notice that at all. But maybe somebody else did, I don't know. The whole not ruining the experience for me, I think says more about the story than anything else. It's sort of like those movies you can watch over and over and still love, or the books you can read 15 times and still have them get the same reactions out of you as the first time you read them. It was the same thing here, and that's quality storytelling right there. Also, it has to be said that the voice acting is top fucking notch. I've actually read ahead past the next arc too, and I honestly can't wait for a certain voice actress to be able to say some stuff myself. Although, I may have given some shit away just by saying that. If you figured out what I meant, I'm sorry. For real. The main character we're introduced to in this one is Tengen, the former shinobi and current Hashira of Sound in the Demon Slayer Corps. Tengen is a really unique character, like all of the Hashira actually seem to be. In this case, I'm being nice and using unique when I mean a bit out there or nuts. Though, think about it. That actually makes a lot of sense that the veteran Demon Slayers might be more than a little nuts. They go out there and see death and horrors every fucking day. A lot of them probably since they were really young. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they had like some sort of post-traumatic stress. And, the oddities are kind of their way of coping. Hell, most of them probably started out the same as Tanjiro, with one or more loved ones being slaughtered by a demon, right? I mean, that'd definitely take its toll on a person's psyche. Although, I could be reading more into it than the author actually meant. I mean, he probably just wanted the leaders to all have their own unique shtick, to differentiate themselves from each other. Well, anyway, Tengen is definitely a unique sort of guy. As stated, he's a former shinobi from a line of shinobi that actually seeks out the spotlight, and the desire to be flashy, as it's translated into English. In his vocabulary, flashy also seems to mean good or badass or awesome. He wields a pair of swords connected by a chain, and his ability and fighting style stems from sound. I honestly don't know about these things. At first, I thought the breathing techniques and styles were just that, just regular techniques, but they actually seem to have some sort of supernatural effects akin to the supernal powers of the demons themselves. I don't know. I thought all the water and flames pouring off the sword strokes were just stylistic choices of the artist, which turns out to be the creator himself. However, when you see Tanjiro literally burning a demon with a sword stroke, or Tengen here blowing holes in the ground with his sword techniques, it kind of makes you wonder. As also mentioned, Tengen has 3 wives. It seems that was sort of the tradition of his particular clan due to their bloodline dying out. His clan would take multiple wives to father as many children as possible. He seems to actually care about each one of them individually as well, which is pretty cool. Willing to put himself and others into danger in order to protect each of them. Now, his wives, of course, drew the same sort of criticism from the Galaxy Brains on Twatter for the exact same reasons as Nezuko. Again, some people are morons. Also hypocrites, since these are the same exact ass clowns that have zero trouble objectifying male characters. Each of the wives, of course, had their own unique personalities as well. Unfortunately, you don't really see too much of them in the anime itself, or even really in the manga that I can recall. A few scenes here and there, some stuff between them and Tengen, like flashback scenes and stuff. But it's really not a lot of time to really and truly flesh out these characters. As always, the artwork and animation for this show are fucking phenomenal. That last battle sequence between Tengen, Tanjiro, and the demon had my jaw dropping. Oh my gods, and the backgrounds and everything for the Hanamachi itself in the lead up to the showdown. Fuck. It was completely gorgeous. The buildings, the streets, everything rendered in gorgeous detail. Not even the manga brought that kind of reaction out of me. This was just a whole other level. So, yeah, this is completely, totally, and utterly a recommend from me. Not only are the artwork, the characters, and the stories themselves very good, it also uses as a backdrop a little used portion of Japanese history. That time period that basically bridges the old Edo period and the modern era. It's really interesting to see the traditional elements of Japanese culture butting up against things like cars and electric lights and more modern architecture. I mean, a really good example of this is seeing the landscape shots of the Hanamachi with telephone or telegraph lines sort of swooping over them. It kind of gives a really neat juxtaposition. Anyway, I think that's all I got for you today, my goblins. Let me know what you thought of this season or the series itself in that handy comment section down below. While you're down there, whatever platform you might be watching me on, whether that's YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, whatever, don't forget to join the Goblin Horde by crushing those like and subscribe buttons, or whatever they have. I appreciate you watching it all. Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow for the last pop culture news segment of the week. Lates.